Okay, here we are, Friday afternoon with the infamous Bill Gross. I'm Michael Most. Wanted to spend an afternoon really just hanging out with my friend. How's that? And let's see what comes from it.
Beautiful.
Okay, so by way of introduction, so I do lending, but I met you through different channels where you actually have I'll let you talk about yourself, but I just want to put you up on a pedestal a little bit. So here's a guy who runs a pretty large group of people from eXp Realty here locally. I think you run the whole Southern California, or at least the West LA region of eXp.
Beverly Hills branch.
Beverly Hills branch, okay. But more interesting than that came across to me was that you actually also on the side train mortgage loan officers how to either get into the business or how to get better in the business.
Well, really, our main focus are people who are doing pretty well, making a couple $100,000 a year to go up to the next level.
Got it.
That's really our particular niche. Yeah, I've been in the business for a long time.
So it's interesting because we're running like a series, if you may, of how do you grow your business from 100 million to 200 million, right, in the mortgage business. So can you equate that to what you are doing? So are you finding people, because in the mortgage business, you have people, there's different tranches. I would say there's a lot of them struggling to get out of the sub 20 million. Like, how do I even do $20 million worth of business? Then you have the majority of people that are sitting between 20 million to 70 million. And then you have the upper echelon that breaks 100 million, which nowadays is becoming a little more popular. Then you have the supreme one-offs that are doing, anyone that does over 200 million, you know them by name. Like, that's how filtered out it is. But that real tranche, so would you say that you focus with the 20 to 70 million dollar guys, or the 70, how do you take the 70s to 200s?
So the program that I am involved in running is 20 to 70.
Okay.
And then our coaching is Big Joel Coaching. Joel Epstein has been mortgage coaching for the time I've been in the business as well. We were friends 25, 30 years ago. We were both top producers on panels 25, 30 years ago. And so years ago, I called him up, and he was running a coaching business, doing some one-on-one coaching. And so I helped him create a small group coaching for that group, both to get the 20 to 70 million up. And I think even the ones who are higher want to grow, they've got to have certain fundamentals to scale. If your business isn't scalable, you just can't grow it at a certain point, no matter how good you are. So we really work on certain fundamentals of relationship building, specifically from real estate agents. Now, those principles apply to any relationship, but what we teach specifically is how to deepen relationships with real estate agents.
Great. So why don't we tackle, because we've been going through this on a week-by-week basis, right? Where I've been breaking down that process.
Right.
So this is like a great correlation between what we're discussing today.
Sure.
And let's start here. If you had to give me two examples of the toughest challenges that these originators face, what would they be? Just give me the top two.
Well, one's the temptation to spend time on refinances versus purchases.
Okay, so that's number one temptation.
It's challenging.
Okay.
And your systems are overblown. Even if you're just working purchases, your processing, funding, all that stuff is backed up, stressed out, and freaked out.
So one is getting them to focus. When you're looking to help an originator grow, we're saying that the biggest challenge you see is they focus too much on refinances and not purchases. What would be the second one?
The second challenge is to get them to look at the opportunity of a relationship versus being transaction focused.
Okay.
Because relations then make you scalable, where transactions are some of them.
Right. Now, these are skills you're teaching them. I just want to make sure I'm clear with my question. My question is, what do you see the common denominator that most of them are not doing? In other words, let me give you some examples. Do you see that like most people just can't donate more than 2 hours of time to do the job, right? So then regardless of what these things are, that's their issue, or they're not educated enough on products, so they have call reluctancy or whatever. Like, in other words, as you've gotten to know now probably dozens of originators, what do you think their biggest pain point is?
So understand the definition, the people we're working with by definition, they're paying money separately to take a coaching program.
Okay.
So they are highly motivated.
Okay.
The ones who are motivated aren't going to pay money to have a coach tell them
Great
not doing
point.
what supposed to do. So I don't see that group of people. The ones that we're dealing with are working maybe too hard. The funny part is, if they just toned down a little bit and treated the real estate agent they're working with as a human being, not as the owner